yes, it is yet another episode of A Lifelong Promise, a program brought to you by NASA. Chablengube is my name. Tugashira himni chimwe chikamuka chechivimbiso cha upenyu wese. Silamukela ngenjabule nkulu ke kulolu hlandla ke njalo ke lwesithembiso sempilo yonke. Njalo kwazi ubana ke kulolu hlelo sabe sikhangela ke ngendleko yenu lina ke abaku pension tinike chikhurukura ka zvineche kuita na upenyu wenyuka imika vari pa pension vari pa mudya ndigere asika naso no yitoda tinge chikhurukura nemi muchishanda muchigadzirira ka mudya ndigere wenyu. Today we are talking to you as the employer. We're also talking to you as the employee as we prepare ourselves for our pension. In the studio, let me welcome Stachisiwe Kumalo, who is the acting regional manager Matebele Land. Stachisiwe sawamukela kuhlelo lapho esithi namhlanje sabe sixoxisana phela labo laba abaku pension besalungiselela njalo ukungena ke kumpension.
Ngiyabonga JB, ngiyabingelela ngemakhaya.
We also have in the studio amongst us Mr. Richard Chokunonga, who is acting national compliance manager, credit control. Once we hear the term credit control, welcome to the program, Mr. Chokunonga.
Thank you, JB. How are you, viewers?
Today, viewers, without wasting much of our time, we are talking about contributions and compliance to kutaura nezvenyaya yekubvisa kamari idzo dzatinofanira kunge tichipinza kamuhomwe imali lezi ke esabe sisifaka ke akulesi sikhwama sibonakala njalo kubana ke lezi zimali ziyahamba na. Well, let me begin with you, Mr. Chokunonga. What are we talking about here when we're talking about contributions compliance?
Thank you very much, JB. When we talk about contributions and compliance, JB, we are talking about compliance enforcement. We are talking about enforcing compliance in terms of registration. You are aware that most employers must register with NASA. You are also aware that all employers also must contribute to NASA. And you are also aware that all employers also, they must submit returns on a monthly basis. So that is what we enforce, JB. Yes.
Mumwe angada kuzvinzwisisa norurimi rwamai kuti ndezvipi zvatutaura nezvazvizvo.
Yeah, JB tikati susu basa rero ratupita JB. Ndiri kuona kuti vanhu vanosungirwa kuti vari vano nyoresa kunasa vaitaisa izvozvo here. Tuti makambani ose anofana kuregister kunasa zvakare anosungirwa kubhadhara mari dzenasa uyezve pane mareturns avanoisa kunasa mwedzi wega wega ndokuti chirongwa chochi chenasa chiyo chiri chinofamba zvakanaka JB.
Stachisiwe nxa sithi thina ke nxa sikhangela ke ngesiqoqela sanamhlanje indikimba namhlanje ithi yona ke contributions and compliance omunye ke ngafuna ukuthi abezwisisa ukuthi sabe sisitsho nxa sikhuluma ngalolu daba.
Yabonga JB. Lapha sikhangele ukuba amakampani onke eZimbabwe abe ngamalunga eNASA. Ngakho ke siyahamba kumakampani sibone ukuba ngempela izisebenzi zingamalunga eNASA. Njalo sibone lokuthi imali ziyabuya yini ngesikhathi eNASA njalo zibuya zenele yini. Yiyo injongo ye contributions and compliance.
And Mr. Chokunonga, who is reliable, or rather who is liable to contribute to NASA schemes, and why is it important?
Thank you very much, JB. We are saying that every employer of labor who has got a place of business here in Zimbabwe and is employing employees between the ages of 16 years and 65 years. These are the people who are supposed to actually register with NASA. But we are saying that those that are still in the informal sector and the domestic workers, for now, they are not supposed to actually register. This also includes JB, those international organizations like the embassies and so forth. Those also, they have to contribute. That is if they employ Zimbabwean nationals. They are also required to contribute and pay to the schemes.
Tichitarisa ipapapo ane kodzero yekuti angachi wenza mari muhomwe iyi ndiani uye zvakanakire?
Ya tingati izvi JB vane kodzero kuva vanounza mari kuhomwe. Tingati tine makambani anoshanda muno muZimbabwe, tingati ivavo ndokunge vachipinza mabasa vanhu vakaita semakore anobva pa 16 years kusvika pa 65 years. Tingati ivavo vanosungirwa kuti vagoregister, asi tikuti isusu pari zvino JB vaya vari kushanda mabasa avo emaoko nevamwe mabasa akasiyana-siyana asiri formal aya pari zvino havasati vagoregister. Tingati tine maschemes maviri atinawo JB. Inonzi yekutanga inonzi pensions and other benefits scheme. Iyoyo yakakoshera kuti kana munhu achinge azokura azochembera JB azowana mudyandigere. Koza imwe atinoti accident prevention and workers compensation scheme. Iyoyo JB inobatsira kuti vashandi vedu kana vachinge vazokuwara JB tozovakompensata kuvaripira pakuwara kwavo, uyezve nekubatsira kuti tive tinobhadhara zvose zvinodiwa, zvingave zviri mamedical costs nezvimwe zvose zvinodiwa kana ma-appliances, tichibatsira kuti our member uyu agova ari anoita zvakanaka.
If you're just joining us, viewers, we are talking about contributions and compliance on this lovely program, A Lifelong Promise, courtesy of NASA. Sensiza kuweke stachisiwe nxa sithi thina-ke abantu bayebemela ukuthi bayebenikeza ke imali ingena ke kulesi sikhwama, ngobani ke abalomlando ukubona ukuthi imali le yangena ke esikhwameni lesi njalo ke akuyabe kuqhatheke kanjani kibo ke nxa imali yona le ibuye esikhwameni?
Wonke umqhathi eZimbabwe ukhangelelwe ukuba abe yingxenye yenhlelo zeNASA. Wonke umqhathi kumele ukuba abone ukuthi isisebenzi sakhe kumbe izisebenzi zakhe zingamalunga eNASA. Izisebenzi lezo kumele ziye phakathi kweminyaka engu-16 kusiya ku-65. Kumele ukuba zonke lezi zisebenzi zibhaliswe eNASA. iNASA ile nhlelo ezimbili. Eyokuqala yi-POBS, Pension and Other Benefits Scheme. Le yiyo ekhangele ama-pension ethu. Eyesibili ibe yi-Accident Prevention and Worker Compensation Scheme. Le ikhangele ukuba nxa umuntu engalimala emsebenzini kumbe abe lokugula okubangelwa ngumsebenzi awenzayo, athole ukuthi akhokhelwe imali zesibhedlela njalo aphiwe compensation ngenxa yokulimala lokho. Kuqhakathekile ukuba iZimbabwe iyazi ukuba kumele kube ngababe ngamalunga beNASA ukuze bakholise umhlala phansi nxa sebebadala bengasenelisi ukusebenza, njalo nxa bengalimala bathole ukuncediswa yiNASA. Ngakho kuqhakathekile ukuba wonke uZulu osemsebenzini u-formal employment ngesingisi, sikhangela amanesi, amasotsha, konke ku-private sector, ama-NGOs ngokunjalo kumele ukuba babe ngamalunga eNASA.
There you are, viewers. It is your responsibility as the employer to make sure that you contribute. It is your responsibility as an employee to make sure that your contributions are well remitted. Well, let's go for a break. When we come back, we want to know how one can register so that you'll be able to make these contributions.
The National Social Security Authority wishes to advise its valued pensioners that the Life Certificate Renewal Exercise for 2022 will be running from 6 June 2022 to 31 August 2022. Chirongwa ichi chichaitwa pachitevedzwa mitemo yekudzivirira denda re-COVID-19. Nekudaro vanhu vachabatsirwa vari vashoma nevashoma kumahofisi eNASA akatekeshera nyika yose. Vari pamudyandigere weNASA vari kukurudzirwa kushandisa mahofisi eNASA ari pedyo navo. Labo abahola ipension bakhuthazwa ukuthi bazibuyele manqamu eNASA njalo baze lezithupha zabo kanye lomfuziselo waso kumbe ipasipoti esebenzayo. Labo abagula kakhulu labagugekileyo bazavakatshelwa yiNASA emzini yabo. NASA will also visit selected POSB, NBS and Zimpost during the pensioner paydays. Several local business centers and growth points will be visited by NASA on dates to be advised. Pensioners in the diaspora can download the Life Certificate on www.nasa.org.zw. Upon completion and certification, kindly email to NASA Life Certificates at nasa.org.zw. Failure to renew a life certificate by 31 August 2022 will result in suspension of benefit payout. For more information, visit any NASA office or our website www.nasa.org.zw. Hashtag NASA Heroes. NASA, a lifelong promise.
atinogashira tichibva kunonwira mvura tiri muchivimbiso cheupenyu isitembiso sempilo yonke ke mbukeli othandekayo. Jabula Ncube ilona ke igama lami namhlanje ke kulolu hlelo ke silostatshisiwe Khumalo acting regional manager Mathebeleland layeke ubaba ke uRichard Chokunonga acting national compliance manager credit control. Hurukuro ya tukurukurane zvaina sunoyo inyayaka inechekuita nema contributions nekuona kuti ma contributions iwayayo zvedi ari kuendeswa. Well, before we went for the break, we wanted to know how one become a member so that it starts contributing, and we also want to know what the employer is obliged to do after registering with NASA. Mr. Richard.
Thank you, JB, very much. So we, as employers, they are required to register with NASA, and we do have some forms that we have that they have to complete, which they have to give us their details in terms of their names, their businesses, and their addresses, and so forth. And also they have to also complete some forms for each and every employee. But now, JB, we do now have a self-service portal, which we are now using as NASA. We cannot also be left behind with the technology that is taking place at the moment. So the employers are then required to then go to the self-service portal, where they then complete their forms on the portal. There are also some documents that are required in terms of memorandums and articles of association. That is, if it is a company that is private. And also the details of the directors, and also the details of the company. These are then uploaded on the self-service portal. And also the list of all the employees that are supposed to be registered. So these, when they come to NASA now, we then approve them, and then we issue the employer with an SSR number, that's a registration number, and we also issue the employees with a social security number. So after registering now, the employer also has obligation that they have to perform on a monthly basis. We want our scheme to move efficiently and effectively, so we require employers to make sure that all their employees are registered with NASA. They also have to make sure that employees who join NASA, let's say there are some who might have some NASA numbers, they have to make sure that they update these on the self-service portal. And also those that leave the company, the employer is required also to make sure that they notify NASA, so that we keep an updated record for each and every employee. And then the employer now is also required to make deductions on a monthly basis in terms of the NASA statutes.
All right.
And after deducting, then they are also required to make sure that these contributions are submitted to NASA by the 10th of the following month. We are saying that we are now in July, so the July deductions must then be paid by the 10th
of July.
Of August.
Of August.
Yeah. Right. And also the employer is also required to make sure that they submit monthly returns. These are the returns that have details of each and every employee in terms of their name, in terms of their NASA number, in terms of their salaries, and also their deductions. This is a schedule that we then upload in our system, so that we keep a proper and updated record of each and every employee for the proper administration of the NASA schemes.
And where can one access this self-service portal? How does one get to have the documents to fill in all the necessary information?
So they have to go to our services portal. They can download it when they go to our website. They can then get the NASA services portal. So what they do is that they have to complete some forms, because we require that for the first time, employers have to give us representatives that are supposed to be using the services portal. So when you approve them, they are then able to use this services portal, because we believe that the services portal cannot be accessed by everybody.
So in other words, we are saying the employer approaches NASA first with the representatives. And once the representatives have been approved, that's where now they can get access to the self-service portal.
That's exactly JB.
Well, there you are, viewers. We are getting to the gist of how one can register and start making these contributions. Since this is a way stachisiwe, asikhangeleni ke lapha sifuna ukubana ke omunye ke engenza kanjani ke lapho ubana ke abe lilunga leNASA njalo abe senelisa ukuthi abe efaka ke lezo mali. Njalo sibe kwazi njalo ukuthi yena ke umqhashi yikuphi okumele ukuthi abe kulandela ukwenzela ukuthi phela konke ke kube kuhlelekile.
Ngiyabonga mnumzana. Kule form elikhona elenziwe yiNASA. Iform leli umqhashi kumele alithole. Likhona emahofisini ethu, likhona njalo ku portal yethu. Iform leli liyabe lifuna ukuba umqhashi abhale ama details enkampani yakhe, afake njalo labakhokheli becompany. Iform leli lilento eziningi ezilifunayo kumele ligcwaliswe liphelele. Lingagcwalisa leli form abese thatha iform lezisebenzi njalo ligcwaliswe izisebenzi adinde avume ukuba yebo izisebenzi lezi ngezami. Amaform lawa ayalethwa eNASA. Amaform lawa angabuya eNASA, iNASA iyawakhangela iwahlole ingabona ukuba hayi konke kuqondile. iNASA isifaka ku system. Ingafaka ku system iNASA lapha kule number ephumayo eyibufakazi bokuba umqhashi ngempela uselilunga leNASA okuthiwa iSSR number. Inamba le ingaphuma sokubuya inamba yesisebenzi. Isisebenzi ngasinye ngasinye kumele sibe le number yaso okuthiwa iSSN. Inamba le kayitshintshi ukusebenza komuntu kwakhe konke injenge ID number. Inamba le nxa usebenzi sesilayo sesikwazi ukuba ngempela sililunga leNASA. Nxa lokhu sokwenzakele umqhashi kulezinto akumele azenze. Engathi mina kulomlando umqhashi ukuthi into lezi zihambe kuhle. Sikhulumile ngenhlelo zethu leziyana kazinyike zihambe kuhle nxa singela umlando esiyubekayo kumalunga. Umqhashi kumele abone ukuba nxa labantu abatsha abangena emsebenzini uyabhala atshengise iNASA kuba hayi sengilaba lezisebenzi ezintsha. Nxa kulomunye futhi umsebenzi ophumayo, nxa isebenzi siphuma kumele abhale hayi ngicine kuba lo JB ngelanga elingaka. Lokhu kuyasinceda njengeNASA ukuba nxa sokubuya isikhathi sokuthi umuntu ezoclaim imali zakhe sesibona ukuthi all right uJB usebenze iminyaka engaka. Umqhashi futhi ukhangelelwe ukuba akhuphe imali kumholo wesisebenzi ngenyanga. Imali leyi ingakhutshwa iyahlangana leyi ekhutshwa ngumqhashi ngoba sitshilo kubana kule mali ekhutshwa ngumqhashi ikhutshwe la isebenzi ihlangane ibisibuya eNASA. Nxa isibuye eNASA lapha kulelanga elikhangelelweyo ukuba nxa lifika umqhashi wonke ebe esekhiphile imali lezi kungumhla ka10 wenyanga elandelayo. Njengokuthi kade sikuJuly kuthi umhla ka10 August kumele kuba imali zonke zikaJuly zibe sesifikile esiphaleni seNASA. Imali le kayibuyi yodwa ngoba kumele nasikwazi ukuthi imali le ebuyileyo nyeka bani lozibani. Kule form la khona okuthiwa monthly return P4 form kumele kuba kubhalwe ukubana imali le nyeka sithatshisiwe njalo imali engaka ekhokhelwa ukuthatshisiwe inamba yakhe eNASA nansi. Lokhu kuyanceda ukuba iNASA yazi ukubana imali kazibani lozibani ibuyile. Nxa sekwenziwe lokho futhi kulomlando umqhashi ukuba agcine phela ama records kukhanye kuba hayi umqhashi lo uhlelekile uzabe kwazi ukuthi hayi izisebenzi zami zemi kanje ukuze kungaba lokunye okukhuthakeleyo ngemva kwesikhathi singabuyela siye ukuthi umqhashi wake waba yini lo JB avule ingwalo athi hayi bengelayo yikho kukhangelelweyo kumqhashi iNASA.
ikhona ukhangeleleyo ke umqhathi ke yiNASA nxa sesiphenduka ke kukhefu seza kuthi sibe sikhangela phela okuyabe kukhangelelwe isisebenzi isiqhatshwa ukuthi sibe senzani ngemva kubana ke umqhathi yena enzileke izompo lakhe todzoka kunomira mvura netotasa zvino kuti ko ndezvipi zvinosingira kuti zvingechitwa kane mushandi mushure mekunge iye mushandirwi aita chake chijana chekuona kuti zvese zvava mugwara kuti ma-contributions angachienda musende kure tinodzoka kwechinguvana.
NASA compliance inspectors will be conducting door-to-door inspections for all employers nationwide from Monday 18 July to Friday 29 July 2022 to ensure they are compliant with provisions of the NASA Act Chapter 17.04. The Act mandates the authority to provide security coverage for all employees and their dependents. The compliance inspectors will be identifiable through production of a NASA Inspector's Identification Card. Employers in arrears are encouraged to make payment arrangements with their respective NASA regional offices. They are also required to submit their monthly returns and to update employee records online through the NASA Self-Service Portal, SSP. Employers who still have outstanding returns are reminded to upload them on the SSP to avoid penalties. Be an employer hero by keeping your NASA returns up to date. Report any suspicious demands. #NASA Heroes. NASA, a lifelong promise.
Before we went to the break, we promised you that when we come back, we want to know now what the employee is supposed to do with regards to making sure that the contributions are met. Coming to you, Stachisiwe, now that the employer has made the road so smooth for the employee to start making contributions, what are the obligations now facing the employee?
Thank you very much, Mr. JB. We spoke about the employer's obligations. The employee also has obligations to NASA. The employee is obligated to give the employer correct details of themselves. We're speaking about the ID number, the correct name, correct surname, correct date of birth, as well as dependents, and all the rest of the information required. This is important because when we are giving an SSN number to an individual, we use this information. However, if there is anything wrong in the information, we have challenges upon claiming of benefits where we want to know who this person really is. When we get the correct information, we know that we are safe and we've done things right the first time. We also require the employee to log on to our portal, our self-service portal, where they can get to really see if all their employment history is really recorded as was. For example, somebody would have worked for 5 companies. It is important for the employee to go and check and see that all the companies where they worked are actually there and the periods are correct. This is very important because upon retirement, we want to go and calculate the number of years someone has worked. So while we are still fit, while we are still strong, while we are still working, it is important for us to verify with NASA if all the employment records are in place. So that when we come, when we're old, we are weak, we cannot really move from one company to the other, we know our things are in order as employees.
Ngustachisiwe phela lo acting regional manager Bulawayo uyasimumuza la isilungu ngithemba ke sizwile lapho ukuthi ubesithi regedwe kwamori bacho kunonga athinzi kwisise zvino kuti company yaita zvayaita kuti pakwanise kuva ne-member pakwanise kuva nema-contributions zvino mushandi akuchitarisirwa kuti angachita sei zvino izvi sezvo kambani yagadzirisa nzira.
Tutenda zvikuru JP tingati mushandi ane basa ranosungira kuti ari anoita ngatiti takupai NASA number yenyu iye anofanira kuona kuti apa zvakakwana here kumushandirwi kubvira zita rake rakakwana here chitupa chake nenhamba dzacho nezvimwe zvose zvingadiwe nemushandirwi uyezve totasira isusu kuti mushandi uyu apotewo achienda paself portal achinoona kuti information yake yakakwana here, nokuti dzimwe dzenguva anogona kuva akashanda kune makambani akawanda, saka ngaaone kuti makambani iwaya zuva raakabuda raakapinda nerakabuda zvakakwana here, zviri correct here, kuitira kuti paanozouya kuzotora pension yake tisazonetseka JB, nokuti pane zvinhu tiri kuona vamwe vanouya kuzotora mari dzavo ona pakashanda papa zita racho haripo. Saka tiri kukurudzira kuti mamembers edu eNASA vapote vachitarisa zvinhu zvavo kuti zvakakwana here, zita rake ririmo rakakwana here, ID number yakakwana here, kwaakashanda kwese kuripo here. Saka sewe JB I think unofanira kucheka kuona kuti ukaenda paportal yeNASA uona kuti information yako iripo here, ZBC iripo here, obva wacheka zvese kuitira kuti paunozoretire zvinhu zvinenge zvakaringana.
Akunjalo umbukelo othandekayo ke sesibanga thina ke emaphetheleni ohlelo lethu ke lanamhlanje mphenduke kuye isidatshisiwe ukuthi ke isiqhatshwa isisebenzi sikhangelelwe ukuthi sibe senza njani ngaleso sikhathi ke ubana ke umqhatshi usenzile izombo lakhe.
Isisebenzi sikhangelelwe yiNASA ukuba sinike umqhatshi waso information eqondileyo ephatlanelayo. Lapha sikhuluma nge-ID number yakhe, abone kuba iqondile, akhangele ibizo lakhe, abone ukuthi liqondile, isibongo, i-date of birth lakho konke okungafunakala. Lokho kuqakathekile ngoba inamba yethu yeNASA leyana ihamba lebizo lesibongo le-ID number yomuntu. Ngakho ke kumele kuba lokho kube kuqondile. Lokho kunceda kuba nxa umuntu sebuya elanda ipension yakhe esekhulile athole ukuba yonke into iqondile eNASA. Njalo futhi isisebenzi kumele ukuthi singene ku portal esikhulume ngayo ku internet, ukuba isisebenzi singena lapha ku portal yethu yeNASA sikhangele ukuba lapho asebenza khona kukhona yini. Amakampani manengi, abantu bayasuka kule company baye kweyinye, khona khona kumele ukuthi nasibe kwazi ukuba hayi kathesi isisebenzi silapha kule company se-ZBC sesukile seNASA. Khona khona kuyanceda ngoba nxa sesikhalculate ipension siyabala iminyaka yokusebenza, ikho kwenza sinike umuntu ipension. Ngakho kuqakathekile kuba isisebenzi sisaqinile kathesi sihle kukhangelwe kubonakala kuba information yonke leyi ikhona ku system njalo iqondile, kuzanceda ukwenzela kuba isithembiso lesi esikhuluma ngaso esempilo yonke sigcwaliseke kubalunga yethu.
It is a life-long promise and it's everyone's responsibility of making sure that this promise is fulfilled. Well, viewers, our time is up. As we close the program, Mr. Chokunonga, can anyone from anywhere come and contribute voluntarily?
Yes, JB. I think as NASA, we've realized that there are instances where employees leave employment and maybe they are just some few years to go to retirement. So we do have a facility which is called a voluntary contribution facility. So without an employer, an employee can come to NASA and apply for a voluntary contributor. So they have to make sure that they would have worked for at least 12 months contributing NASA with a certain company, and then they must be below 60 years old.
Saka zvukureva kuti munhu wese hake akasununguka nyangwe a company isina kuenda kuno register anokwanisa kuenda kunozvirongera ega kuti angachibatirwa muchikandike.
Yeah, tikuti susu mushandi uyu anofanirwa kuva akatomboisa mari kunasa kwemwedzi 12. Kana asiya basa isusu seNASA takati isusu hatingaregedze munhu akadaro. This is a lifelong promise. Anga achifamba munhu saka toda kufamba naye kusvikira kumagumo. Saka tozomubata rokutoti chiuya kana uchikwanisa chiuya uzobvisa mari wega, ndiwo unenge wamushandiri, ndiwo unenge wamushandi. Saka unenge wakubvisawo mari yakakufanana neyanga achibvisa ari kucompany kwekwe.
That was Mr. Richard Chokunonga, acting regional manager, acting national compliance manager. Yes, acting national compliance manager, credit control. achiti tsanangurira akuti ndezvipi zvatinofanira kuti tinge tichiita kapo akana chida kuti tinge tichiuya chizozvibhadhirira tega. Esther Chisiwe, nanku ke sesivalisana ke lababukeli lapha ke umuntu uyavunyelwa na ukuthi azibuyele yedwa emofisini athi hayi mina ngifuna ukuthi ngikhipha ke imali yami.
Uyavunyelwa umuntu ukuthi abuye NASA nxa eke wa contributor le NASA for at least 12 months. Kumele kuba abe ephakathi below 60 years. Njalo futhi kumele ukuthi abe engumuntu olungele ukuthi angakhipha imali ekamqhathi lesisebenzi, which means usengu-employer usengu-employee. Then sile mali ebekwa yinasa ngesikhathi ukubana nxa umuntu voluntary contributor ukhipha 9% yemali enganani. That is reviewed ngesikhathi ukuze bathole imfanelo zabo eziqondileyo nxa sebezoretire.
Ngangibonge ebengilabo ke namhlanje lo oqeda ke uxoxa lathi ke nguStachisiwe Khumalo, ngumakhumalo ke ongu-acting regional manager Mathebele Lente. Jabula Ncube is my name. Until we meet again next week on this lifelong promise courtesy of NASA. It's a goodbye for now.